It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show. Hey folks, welcome to another episode of AggroChat. This is episode number 16, and it's going to be a little bit of a weird one, because this week my computer blew the hell up, so I might sound a little weird. And I also might have an adorable kitten helper since I'm kind of out here in the open with all my pets. This week we are joined by Ray.
Hi!
Ashgar.
Hello.
Kodra.
Hello!
And Tam.
Hello.
It's a mega show. Yeah, so hopefully everything works out okay. Ray, what have you been up to this week?
Well, it's mostly just been getting back into the swing of things, finally being home for a stable week, and I did a little bit of League earlier this week, and you guys sucked me back into Final Fantasy XIV.
We are good at doing that.
Crack dealers.
It's true.
It's okay, because I have a giant chocobo.
It's true. You have a big chocobo, and it's adorable. Anything else? You've drawn adorable chibis. I know that much.
Yes. Lots of chibis. I've been doing my one chibi a week thing pretty steadily. The tablets definitely made a huge difference.
Awesome. Kodra, what have you been up to?
I was out on vacation all this week, so I've been just at the beach hanging out. So games I've been playing have been pretty limited. I played some Monument Valley though. When I got sick this week. Not pleasant.
Monument Valley seems like it would be a cool game.
It's a very cool game. Like, it's a very short game. Like, I only played it for about an hour. And I guess for an iOS game, it's kind of expensive at $4. But it's very pretty, and it works with the theme.
Well, considering I have only really bought Squaresoft games for my mobile device, $4 seems pretty cheap. Since theirs tend to run like $10 or more. See, Ash, what have you been up to?
Mostly I've been up to FF14.
It's a thing.
Also some Game Boy Advance games. A little bit of Shining Soul 2. Some more FF5.
Cool. Yeah, so I have to get my machine back up and running because you want to know what the only place that I have is my Final Fantasy V playthrough is on the hard drive of the machine that died.
Clearly, you should take that hard drive out and find something to do with it.
Yeah, I know. I think I can resurrect the machine, though. Let's see. Tam, what have you been up to?
Let's see. I beat, other than reading a book series, which is very near and dear to my heart, which is the Gentleman Bastard series, which I highly recommend. The Lies of Locke Lamora. It's a great book. I beat the most recent Shadowrun DLC, or the only Shadowrun DLC. And I've been back in Final Fantasy XIV.
And it sounded like that the DLC was a way better campaign than shipped with the initial Shadowrun.
It was really good. And the original campaign was really good to begin with, so it was better, and that surprised me.
I feel like a horrible person because I have yet to play either.
The original was really fun.
The new one is even better, I thought.
Cool.
Which I was not prepared to think, but there's a lot more options, and it encourages a lot more different play styles and lets you do a lot more interesting things with them, and I thought that was really cool.
Cool.
That's good. Yeah, that was a thing that was kind of lacking in the first one. It was really, I hope you picked a combat character.
Yeah. I played through the original with my I don't even carry a weapon character, and it was rough. This time I felt like I had all the tools that I needed and could do all sorts of neat things, and I was fully supported in what I was trying to do.
Cool.
And that was nice.
Well, I think that was one of the initial complaints, was that, heavy combat characters did really well in the initial campaign, but, things that weren't so combat heavy struggled, and maybe they designed the campaign around that. I don't know. Let's see. For me, it's been a crazy couple weeks. Big thing that's happening right now in my world is Blaugust. And at this point, all of us but Tam are participating in Blaugust. And what do you ask is Blaugust? It's this weird idea I had based on the fact that I pretty much blog every morning. And I've been doing that for like 450 days. And unfortunately, like I'm far better known as a blogger, as the guy that writes every day, than what I might actually say. But what happens during the summer is, like, I've noticed that most of the bloggers slow down massively, and it makes sense. Summer's a busy time with families, etc. And I kind of wanted to come up with a reason for people to kick things back into high gear. So I challenged. Just made an open challenge to write something every day for 31 days. And I expected to have maybe like 4 or 5 people sign up. But yesterday on the day 1 post, we had 38 posts.
Dang.
And we had like a couple people pick up and start with day 2. Because I put in some rules that allow people to catch up. And basically, like, I don't even think people are in it for the rewards at this point, but I decided to give away some packages of games. So if you are interested, check out my blog, because I have all sorts of information on agronaut.com about the Blaugust initiative, and it is totally valid for somebody to catch up and write extra posts to get their 31 in. And I'm so happy that Ray and Ash and Kodra, you guys are taking the challenge.
It's going to be
interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I feel like more content has happened in the last 24 hours than like the last several weeks. Because like there's a ton of good posts in the day 1 stuff, and I plan on doing a rundown of the day 2 stuff as well. And I've been gone most of the day, so I haven't even read most of them, but it looks like there's a lot of good posts there too. Other than that, 2 things interesting have happened for me. Like I've started back up Final Fantasy, and it was the whole free weekend thing that kind of hooked me.
Marketing works.
Yeah, it totally works. But the other thing that's happened is I think I've kind of decided I'm done with WildStar, which is not terribly shocking because I haven't logged in I don't know, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
I canceled my subscription today.
I also canceled my subscription, but I canceled it yesterday. It's a really pleasant game, but it just, I don't know, like after the initial interest, I stopped wanting to play it. And I don't really know why I stopped wanting to play it. But for whatever reason, I think I'm just done with it for right now. And I wish their team the best of luck, because they seem like really awesome people. And the community they've got going on seems really cool. It just feels like a very WoW community to me. And that's not a slight against WoW or a slight against WildStar, but the whole experience feels kind of like WoW. But yeah, coming back to Final Fantasy XIV kind of felt very home-like. And it took me a while to really remember why we left in the first place. And I guess I don't really remember fully why we all kind of faded out at the same time. I mean, like, I think it's because I didn't want to level another job, and all I really had left was fate grinding.
We were low on content we could do that wasn't 8-man raids, and we didn't really have a team to do 8-man raids. So we just kind of faded out.
I feel like we had exactly like maybe 9 or 8 people, but it wasn't really a viable option for us.
Yeah,
Well,
it wasn't reliable.
It was hard to get all 8 of us on at one time. And like, so we'd have a couple weeks where a lot of awesome things happened, and then a couple disappointing, because we were doing, I think, Wednesday nights? And there'd be a couple disappointing ones where we don't even have enough people on to do a dungeon. So yeah, I mean, I think that was part of it. And I think for me is like, I probably would have stuck it out and kept playing, but I had leveled my warrior with quests and my bard with fates, and I didn't really feel like there was another interesting path to level something.
There was quite literally nothing for a solo player to do otherwise.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
And that was the problem. Fates were boring.
And I guess for me right now, like, I am totally okay leveling through a combination of Fates and the Duty Roulette because it breaks it up enough for me to get the little breaks between the two. And that's pretty much how I've been leveling my Dragoon, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit.
I feel like I have plenty of stuff to do.
Yeah, like, and there's like a ton of stuff that I haven't even touched, like all the Beast Tribe dailies, and there's interesting stuff on each of them. The hunt logs are really cool too. Like, that was kind of the initial sticky content that I came back and did a lot of, was the daily and weekly hunts. But yeah, I mean, I guess at this point they've had, 3 or 4 really content-dense patches?
Something like that.
Yeah.
There have been three major patches since this game launched a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, so there's now? 4 more Primal fights, or 3 more? Something like that? Because you've got Rama, you've got Leviathan, you've got Moggle. I guess
Moggle is a redo of 1.0 fight, but yeah, that's
he's
new.
A Primal, technically. I mean, like, not in storyline-wise, but he's in functionality, he's a Primal.
Another 8-man single boss encounter.
Yeah. And then you've got, Gilgamesh, and there's one more that's...
Wait, Gilgamesh is in now?
Yes.
Yeah.
That Gilgamesh?
Yes, that Gilgamesh.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I forget, it's something bridge encounter.
It's the bridge encounter with Gilgamesh?
Yeah.
Yeah, music and all.
But isn't there another one similar to Gilgamesh that's a non-hard mode type encounter? I'm drawing a blank, though. I know there's Gilgamesh, which is not really a hard mode encounter, but it's an 8-man encounter, I think.
But anyway,
so there's a ton of interesting content, and the housing system is super interesting, if not prohibitively expensive. So,
look, at least our guild is going up and not down now. So
yes,
yeah,
that would be the other reason why we left.
Yeah,
I think I stopped playing because I literally could not afford to keep playing in my actual funds.
There was no functional way for us really to gain money. There was gold sinks aplenty, but no fountains.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now, like, I can totally run Duty Roulette and make constant positive cash flow. It's not super fast, but it's worthwhile. And then apparently the crafting system is a good means of cash. But yeah, like, I don't know.
I got really lucky. Let's be totally clear here.
Yeah.
I didn't deserve that.
Part of me,
but you got it.
I wrote this morning in my blog that I'd kind of like to set down roots here. I mean, that would be... Now, I hope, like, 2 months down the line, I'm not writing a post. It's like, oh my God, why did I come back? But, because, like, I'm the first to admit that, I am just as liable to do that after saying I like this game. But I guess the thing that I like the most is the community. It's been refreshing how different this community is than your average MMO fare.
I have never successfully returned to an MMO after stopping it, but this one's giving that record a run for its money. The story I was telling Ash earlier was I got into a hard mode boss fight that I was wholly unprepared for. Because I'm a healer and I didn't know what I was doing, I caused the group to wipe, and the 2 tanks apologized to me for not explaining the fight first. And I think my brain exploded.
Yeah, I mean, like last night we were doing hard mode of Freet, and it had been a long time since I'd done hard mode of Freet, let alone tried to tank it. And I flat out wiped the party. Like, it was my actions that caused the wipe. Because I forgot that he does the horrible Breath of Doom. And everyone in that group was just chill. Like, okay, here's what happened. Let's not do that again. And, let's pull and dust ourselves off and win this time. So everybody was cool with that. Like, and it's been that way in dungeons. Like, if someone wipes, it's like, oh well, we wiped. And it kind of reminds me of the attitude of players back in, say, EverQuest. Because back then it was just accepted that you're going to die eventually. Like there's no amount of preparedness that's going to keep you alive 24/7 in that game. Like there were too many variable conditions and horrible trains, and sooner or later something was going to kill you. And people were just chill about it. Like, okay, well, let's res up and get going again.
And it was, I remember even the really awful, like, unacceptable wipe, and now you've got to spend hours rebuilding your situation because you had to get all your XP back after dying.
Right.
Was like, still like, oh, all right, well, I guess we're going to hang out a bit longer.
I'm so glad that's not a thing that happens anymore.
Well, but the thing is it was like people enjoyed the journey and weren't so hung up on the destination back then.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy playing this game, and I enjoy grouping with people while playing this game, and experience loss is just a side effect that lets me, get to the content that I want to see. And that was cool. There were a lot of issues I had with that game and how abusive it was to its players, but I liked that attitude. Like, that was cool. And for the most part, EQ2 kind of has that attitude in their community. And I'm thinking maybe it's just this is what happens when you have a niche game with a very insular community and that really loves the material that they're like. Final Fantasy is an act of love for a lot of players.
Yeah.
So they'd be regardless
itself,
of what it was called.
the game itself is very clearly an act of love on the part of its creators.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I can't stop calling this game charming because there's so many little things. It's like, oh, that's adorable. And so yeah, I mean, maybe it's a combination of all of these things. And honestly, if you read the forums, like the development staff actually directly talks to the player base and seems to be really targeting the content towards the players, and I think they maybe appreciate it.
Were you around when I found the classified documents item for housing?
No.
Okay.
That item is hilarious.
This item is great because it says everything. Its tooltip. It's a decorative item for your house, but its tooltip says everything you need to know about this game's attitude. Need to convince a special someone that you are deeply involved in a tangled web of international intrigue, so that they might keep you company in your chambers on what might most certainly could be your last night amongst the living? A couple of official looking documents can only help your ignoble cause.
That's awesome.
It's great.
Like, I don't know where I dug it up, but there was a video that I posted a couple times to you guys this week that it's just this guy dancing in all these various places, and he's a Lalafell. And just the fact that something like that exists is just awesome. I mean, or the fact that today on the server we all play on, Cactuar, they had a player-led fashion show. That's cool. Like, the fact that there's actual community events. So yeah, I mean,
that's really cool.
There's definitely a reason why we're back, and maybe we can continue to draw a few people here and there. And honestly,
with your van.
Like, compared to WoW, their server transfers feel reasonable. I mean, it's $18, I think, for a server transfer, which is WoW's $25, and really, if you're playing more than one character in Final Fantasy XIV, you're probably playing the game wrong.
There are some reasons to play more than one character.
I mean that the nicest possible way, but yeah, I mean, like, you kind of want all your progression in one place because it all helps everything else. It makes me happy that, like, I can have this one character and it can be everything.
Well, I'm a little sad that I can't have, like, my cat person and my elf and my human.
Well, you have vials and you can just switch back and forth, if you really get the hankering. I mean, because Ash was totally
that's an expensive proposition.
Yeah,
at $10 each way.
Well, I have 2 vials, so
you kind of earn 2 over time, but
yeah. But I don't know. Like, I'm kicking around the notion of maybe becoming a Lalafell for a while because Lalafell are freaking adorable. And I mean, like, that was the thing that kept me enjoying WildStar as much as I did, was that I liked the Chua. And I think at some point the novelty of the Chua wore off. And I remembered, oh yeah, I didn't really like this in beta. But so yeah.
I'm boring. I play humans.
Oh, I usually play humans. Like Belghast is almost always a human.
I will say that playing a Lalafell has probably greatly increased my enjoyment of this game.
You're a female Lalafell, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that's why you had the weird belly cutouts on your armor.
He's Poppy.
Yeah.
Really just the one, but it's a shame that it's the Dragoon class piece.
Yes. It's
Are you in
dumb
fact
looking.
a Yordle?
I am in fact a like it's a Yordle XP.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of Yordles, how about that Gnar?
Oh, it's so adorable.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my gosh.
I
I haven't seen any of him in action, but it looks hilarious.
Oh, I have. It's really adorable.
Dino Gnar is I gotta get the double pack. Like there's no doubt there. The Dino skin is so freaking adorable. Because
I don't play this game enough that I should continue to spend money on it, but yet I probably will.
I don't care. It's a skin collection game to me. But the just the artwork for the Dino Gnar that has the whole where the wild things are feel to it is just so adorable. And then what was there were two other new skins. There was Ezreal and Vi, and then there was Arcade
Misfortune.
Misfortune.
Oh, that one's exciting.
Arcade Misfortune is awesome. Like anything that has Nintendo zappers. I mean, I kind of like Misfortune already, but that's definitely a skin that I would play Misfortune under.
Her recall animation is literally her playing Duck Hunt on a small TV.
Nice.
That's hilarious. See, what they should have done is had her with a Nintendo controller on her waist and her using that to do the teleport. Because I watched the Captain, was it Captain Power?
Captain N?
Captain N, yeah, the Captain N cartoon show.
I want to see a arcade Ezreal with a power glove.
You mean Pulsefire?
Seems like one of those things that needs to happen.
Pulsefire is Mega Man.
It's true.
But no, it needs to be the power glove.
I would settle for some other arcade skin because Ezreal has a bajillion skins and one of the coolest skins ever. So,
well, it definitely makes it easier to assemble the unofficial arcade team because
they're not all ADCs.
Arcade Urguts.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they're almost all ADCs, aren't they?
And
well,
Sona.
no. You got a bot
Sona
lane now,
Hecarim.
Misfortune and Sona.
Well, you've got Tron Severe.
Yeah, well, you've got Arcade Hecarim. It's Arcade Hecarim. The official arcade skins are Hecarim, Misfortune, and Sona. So you'd need a mid and a top or jungle.
Well, and Misfortune isn't official, so...
Arcade Seraph?
I was about to say, I don't know who's playing Hecarim top.
Okay, so you need a top laner.
Yeah.
Jungle Hecarim?
Jungle
yeah,
Hecarim.
usually.
That's usually where it goes.
So, yeah.
Home guards teleport.
So clearly...
Okay, what would be awesome, even though they have way too many Garen skins, would be a Garen with like a Minecrafty type pixel sword.
I was actually thinking Donkey Kong Mundo.
Donkey Kong Mundo would be amazing.
See, you say Donkey Kong and I think Gragas.
Well, yeah, he's got a barrel.
He's not the right body shape, though.
He isn't, but...
I see the barrel thing I see.
Yeah, like, okay, so right, you should totally make Arcade Mundo happen. But Mundo has a lot of skins, too.
You know who will never be picked, but should, is a Rumble Master Blaster reference.
Does that exist already? Didn't they just make that?
No, that's...
Well, you kind of got an unofficial one with Jace, because he's got the whole Metroid look in one of his skins. Yeah. I mean, I guess he's a top-ish, or could be a top.
Top, mid, ADC, however you want to play him.
He's been a bunch of things.
I like Jace support.
Okay, so talking about League, I think Ray was all pumped up about various League things. So, Ray, you spin around like a whirlwind and learn us some stuff.
It's fun watching the LCS games. I watch them on my iPad at work when nobody's looking. NA is totally copying EU right now. Everybody's taking turns beating each other.
I have to agree. NA's been a lot more fun to watch recently.
This week's games were hilarious.
I did not get to see most.
This week's best game was an EU game, though. There's no way any game can come close.
This is true.
Alliance versus Millennium, aka CLG versus TSM.
It
that
was a weird game.
AP Malphite mid. Thank you, Froggin.
Hey,
Ash.
Alex did that last season. Seriously.
Last season, and it was amazingly good. Also,
I
I regularly play Malphite mid, so that's less of a shocker thing for me.
But that Jungle Ash, though.
I did not see about Jungle Ash. That sounds hilarious.
100% win rate in the LCS.
It's not even the first time it's appeared in competitive play.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Yeah.
It won that time too, by the way.
Yeah, didn't Shook play it another time?
I think so.
Shook is silly.
A little bit.
They have to make up for Gambit being kind of in pieces.
It makes me sad. That makes me very sad. But it's
Yeah.
alright. Super Hot Crew is hilarious as well, and seems to do very well. How did they do in Super Week, though?
I think they lost their two. They lost games at the beginning and then won them at the end.
Okay.
Unless I'm just remembering it wrong. I'm a little hazy on Super Hot Crew. I was mainly paying attention to like Fnatic.
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 Because Fnatic. Because,
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Because
XPEC A.
Yeah.
Should we not talk about XPEC? Because, reasons.
They won't expect that.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Sigh.
Bum. Okay, so another game that I know Ash and Kodra have been playing, but didn't mention, I don't think, is a lot of Shovel Knight.
That's because I beat before this week.
I'm actually currently playing that right now.
So, considering I was really interested in Shovel Knight, but I haven't actually played it.
But you gave it to me.
I know. I'm like, okay, it's never an occasion where Ash has a game on his wish list that, I actually notice when I was looking at something. So I didn't pick myself up a copy, but I picked you up a copy. Kodra, what do you think? Because I think Ash has kind of given his 100-foot view of it, but...
So Ash gave me the 100-foot view from his perspective, which is this is a game that is like Mega Man and DuckTales, but my perspective is this is Zelda 2. This is a pretty solid Zelda 2 riff with a little bit of a overworld a la Mario 3. It's definitely very much in the NES vein of games, though.
Okay, so please tell me it doesn't have the crazy-ass overworld from Zelda 2.
No,
it has
Mario
a Mario
3's
3's overworld.
Okay. Because, I actually like Zelda 2, other than the horrible wander around and get attacked by random, horribly pixelated blobs.
Yeah, that exists in the same way that the Koopa Troopers that would show up on the overworld map in Mario 3 did. And then you would have to go into a random place and fight your way through that. But other than that, it is Zelda 2. It's like you're scrolling around. There's a little bit more of a jumping puzzle aspect to it. You're doing a lot of Mario style. If I jump and if I use... So in Zelda, you remember when you got the downward thrust with the sword, and that kind of just changes the game?
That's it changed the entire game.
That's the core mechanic of this game. If you downward thrust an enemy, it jets you upwards. So you're trying to find ways to get enemies in a place that you can jet up off of them.
This is where the DuckTales comparisons come in.
Ah, yeah, because Scrooge McDuck with his bouncy cane.
Yeah, but again, everything is super reminiscent of Zelda 2. Along with the towns that you will walk through, and you can talk to everyone, and they're always side scrolling along, and some of them are really weird, like the lady deer deer lady.
A lot of them are animals for some random reason.
All 7 other people other than Belle who played that game are really excited to hear
I
you
played the
talk
hell
about
out
it.
of that game because
What game?
Zelda 2.
Zelda 2.
Oh, I played the hell out of Zelda 2.
Yeah,
So the 6 other people listening to the podcast who have played that game are really excited to hear you two talking about it.
I loved Zelda 2, except for it was really freaking hard.
I loved Zelda 2 until that final slog. And nope, I never have beaten Zelda 2
I haven't beaten it either.
Because going through that last mountain range, like, if you
was
got
so much
out of there
bullshit.
with one life, that was a miracle. And then you lost that life immediately on the last castle.
Yeah,
No,
totally. Like
nonsense.
there were so many things out to kill you inside of those mountains that there was no way to get through it. Like that was not a thing.
Complete and utter madness. Like,
I mean, I know there are people that beaten that game, but I would imagine there are probably, as percentage-wise, as many people have beaten Zelda 2 as cleared Naxxramas 40.
I have to say that, like, even me, who I loved Zelda 2, I loved it so much, I wanted to beat it so badly, I sunk hours upon hours trying to get in, but no, that last stretch of mountain was just too murderous, too impossible, and I had to give up. So I
felt
could
sorry for my
believe that.
cousin.
I could
Because-
believe there's a very, very few number of people who have actually beaten. And the number of people who have done it without a save state is probably quite low.
So my cousin loved my Zelda copy. And instead of just buying his own copy of Zelda, he decided to buy Zelda 2 because bigger number means it's better, right? Yeah, he was so damned frustrated that I ended up, getting his copy most of the time and let him play my Zelda 1 because, it was not anything like what he was expecting. But, like, for me, it was a pretty cool, game. It was kind of like, it was different, and it felt more role-playing gamey than Zelda did. Like,
You'll have to forgive me.
Towns.
You'll have to forgive me because I'm too young to have played Zelda 2.
I know, you're a babe in the woods. It's cool.
Here I am, just nodding and selling at everything.
It was released for the GBA.
You sure?
Yes, positive. Because I played it again on the GBA, and that's where I got all the way to that last section and was like, nope, done. And because it was not an emulator, I couldn't save state, and so no, I've never beaten Zelda 2.
Okay, so back in the day, Nintendo released this big black book that had maps of every game that was available at that time. That is the only reason why I got to Death Mountain in that game, was because I had the maps. But even at that, I could not manage to survive Death Mountain to get into, the final area with anything other than one heart. So I had maps that showed me that were from Nintendo Power, where every single power-up and everything was, and I got them, and I still could not get through it. So,
yeah, no, it was nonsense. There's a lot of nonsense going on in Zelda 2's ending, but the rest of the game was actually quite good.
Yeah, my biggest problem with Zelda 2 was the fact that, a lot of the mobs were really hard to hit because you controlled poorly. The bats and the tiny slimes that hopped and...
Oh, I never had problems with those. I always had problems with the shields. The
Shield Knights?
Yeah, the Shield Knights.
The Butternuts, or whatever the hell they're called.
This is the game that introduced, basically you could... This is probably an interesting game for you, Ash, because you had two ways of attacking high and attacking low. And you had to time all of your attacks properly based on the way your opponents were defending. It's very...
How much of Shovel Knight have you played?
I have only gotten past the first 2 levels. Is that going to happen again? Please tell me that doesn't happen again in this.
I won't tell you.
So yeah.
Oh wait, no.
It is
are you
Zelda
talking about the skeletons that block above attacks and block forward attacks? Because that's actually less annoying than this. Because this is what I'm saying is they block high, they block low, and that means you have to run at them and attack high and hope that they're blocking low. And if they aren't, they're probably going to counterattack you, and they'll do a whole bunch of damage, and you'll die. And they will send waves of these mobs at you. It's very annoying.
No, those knights with the shields that block above and in front.
Yeah, I figured out how to deal with them.
Yeah, they're not so bad until they start throwing in additional attacks that they can do.
That would be annoying.
I feel like I spent a lot of time playing Zelda 2 terrain hacking. Because there were usually places where you could go to an elevator and move the elevator halfway up and then still be able to attack below you. And I may or may not have used that to get through some of those night encounters. But, you know, I mean, I was, you know, a middle schooler, so I'm going to plead the whatever. So, another game that we talked about this week a little bit is Rogue Legacy.
I spent way too much time playing that game this week.
Rogue Legacy is some bullshit. Like, okay, so it just came out on PSN, so I decided to pick it up there instead of on the PC. So I could play it on my Vita. And I've already died like 12 times, I think.
That's just get used to that. That's the thing that happens.
Yeah, I know. Like the first couple times I was like, oh my god, this is bullshit. And then third time in I realized, oh, so this is the leveling mechanic. Dying horribly gets you cool stuff. So it stopped being quite so bad.
So is it like what's that game? Valley of the Mad God?
I have not played Valley of the Mad God.
No, I haven't played Valley of the Mad God either. But basically, like, each time you die, you move a generation.
And
so
you pick all the money that you made in the dungeon, you come out with to buy upgrades for the next time you go in the dungeon.
Yeah, but you can't, like, keep money between two times because there's a guy that charges you whatever you've got left to get into the dungeon again. So it's interesting, like... But you get to choose from, like, one of 3 descendants to play. And they'll have weird abilities. Like, I had one that had Farsighted, which sounds awesome until you realize it blurs all the pixels around your character. Your character literally is farsighted.
Oh.
I had another one that was like the only way you could get back your magic was by destroying things.
OCD. Gotta break up everything.
Yeah.
Mine was, some of the ones that annoy me are like, oh, I'm colorblind. I play the game in black and white. This is really difficult.
Have you gotten the There Is No Spoon?
What?
There is no spork. That's what it was. Where you're basically playing the Matrix. Like, everything looks like the Matrix.
Wow.
It's an amazing game, but it's frustrating too.
Game is weird. Also, the game is hard.
Yeah, like, I didn't expect it to be like it is, but I kind of dig it. Like, it's the perfect game for me to pick up my Vita and play a generation. Like, because I know I'm not going to survive for very long. Like, that's not a thing that's going to happen probably. So I can just pick it up, you know, play for 10, 15 minutes, however long it takes me to die, and bam, I feel like I moved forward a little bit. Which is weird because I died to move forward, but, you know, whatever. So, I really can't think of any other big news this week. You guys think of anything?
We're all going to pass out.
It's true. That is something important, and also High River. And I'm surprised that, like, Kinsey hasn't attacked me during this, but she's apparently deciding to sleep, which is cool.
Sleep is good.
Ray and I and her brother and maybe a couple other people are going to PAX South. So, yeah, that's a thing. It'll be interesting.
Have fun.
I am also totally trying to... so, I have a thing... If this works out, like, I did the math camp thing last week, and that was why we more or less didn't record a show, because I wasn't, you know, up to thinking logical thoughts in a row.
In Mexico.
Yeah. And she was not on a cruise.
I was
misled. I thought she was on a cruise, but I was misled. She was not on a cruise. Anyway, so if Comic-Con is the same days it was this year, I may totally go to Comic-Con next year. And that would be kind of amazing. Because the math camp next year is in Los Angeles.
Oh, nice.
So I could totally drive up to Comic-Con and maybe, like, it was going on exactly the same time as Comic-Con, so here's hoping they pick the same dates. If not, I may totally try and abuse my connections in various game studios and get, like, tours and still go to Los Angeles.
That would be
But it'll
fun.
be interesting, like, because I've not actually done a game con, so I'm looking forward to PAX South. And I'm hoping it's going to be good.
Me too.
And while I don't have Kinsey, apparently now I have Allie on me, so... If you hear a purring kitty, it is Allie.
Belghast, the magnificent cat juggler.
I know. Well, my wife stayed over at her mother's today, so she could spend a couple days with her, so Like, now that I'm here by myself, all the cats have decided to, like, cling to me like Velcro.
Warm body!
Yup.
Yay!
Okay, so any other big news that I am not thinking of?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, it was kind of I feel like I'm still catching up from being gone a week and essentially not reading any of the internet.
With Dragon Age Inquisition dropping to November and various other games trying to escape the bloodbath that's going to be October.
October is going to be a rough month.
So what is...
Middle Earth Creed got out.
What is all releasing in October that's making it such a bloodbath?
Well...
Everything that's not releasing in 2015?
So, any game you might want this year that isn't Destiny, probably releasing in October. New Smash Brothers is in October.
There were about 10 or 12 games.
Dragon Age Inquisition was originally October, but moved down a month because they have some intelligence over there.
Pretty much the only game on the near horizon that I'm really looking forward to heavily is Destiny. I mean, to be honest.
I probably will get the Smash Brothers when it comes out for the 3DS.
Oh, the 3DS copy?
Yeah.
Well, you got your Wii U, though, didn't you?
I did.
I've kind of been pricing a Wii U, but I just haven't gotten one yet. Because it's getting to the point where there's enough of a games library on it that it makes it very compelling.
I am picking up a, what's it called?
PS4?
Yeah, PS4.
When do you get your copy? You're ordering the Destiny edition, right?
No, I ordered one off eBay.
Hopefully you have gone ahead and joined PS Plus, so
I
you
have.
can start getting stuff now. This is the point at which I am going to pitch PS Plus, because if you own a Sony product, any Sony product, or consider that you're going to buy a Sony product anytime soon, you need to get PS Plus and go grab your monthly titles, because when I booted up my PS4, I had like 6 games waiting on me, which is pretty damn cool. When I got my Vita, I had, I think, 30 games waiting on me. So it's a really cool thing that you got this. I mean, it's not as big of a deal as it was now that they've limited it to 2 games a month.
Well, that's still faster than the rate used to be.
Well, it's faster, but you don't have the huge backlog just waiting on you the moment you start.
It's true.
Which, that was like the whole instant game collection that they pitched, I thought was a really neat idea. But still, it is a better deal than anything Microsoft has managed to cobble together.
Hey, they're working on it. They got Games of Gold now.
Yeah.
Also, if you believe EA is trying to work on their own version of it.
It's true, and that was interesting this week that Sony turned them down, that they're not going to offer the EA deal on the Sony network.
It's a little weird because it's kind of in direct competition with PS Plus.
Yeah, like, I mean, so also PlayStation. Have you guys played PlayStation Now yet? Since it's now in open beta.
No,
PlayStation Now.
Their streaming service.
I've heard rumor that there is going to be a subscription plan, and if that's the case, I am interested. If that is not the case, I don't care at all.
You don't want to rent your games for like $20?
No, I don't want to rent the games for more than I would pay for a game on PSN outright. I mean, granted, a lot of the titles that you are playing over it aren't on PSN to buy outright, but...
Oh, I still have a PS3, so...
Well, I do too. Like, I mean, I have a PS3, so...
That looks much less attractive when they're trying to sell me games that I can still currently play.
Well, I think the problem is like, it may be valuable to the poorer schmucks that decided to trade in their PS3 on their PS4, but I don't know, like, I don't ever trade a console in on another console, because I still find value in playing old consoles. So yeah, I mean, like, for people that don't have access to their PS3 library anymore, that was the other thing that frustrated me, because I thought that they could have done the good guy Sony thing and basically grandfathered in whatever you already owned on PSN. Since it is a lot of the same titles. So, like, let me play Final Fantasy IX on, my PS4.
I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I want to play long JRPGs on portables.
Yeah, I'm 100% there. I
can absolutely play FF9 on my Vita because that works.
That's how I'm playing FF9 is on my Vita, and I'm also going to play Wild Arms and Wild Arms 2 again because I remember that game was amazing, and it's been so long since I played it.
Yeah, I won.
I grabbed, I think, Wild Arms 2 while it was $1 a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I grabbed both of them while it was like $1. I mean, that is one good thing is they've been having a lot of really good sales. But
console owners can't have sales.
They totally can. Apparently, they just don't really advertise them very well. Like you kind of have to follow the PlayStation blog to see them, or another site reporting on it. But anyway, the long and short is, if you own any Sony products, you should totally play or pay for PS Plus because it's one of the best deals I have ever gotten. It's what, $50 a year.
Also, if you own it, yeah. Also, if you own a PS4, you're suckered in anyway, since you're starting to require it for online play.
Which is frustrating, honestly, because like I hated that about Xbox Gold, but whatever. I mean, I'm already committed, and they're giving me a lot of shiny toys for
marketing works.
Yeah, I mean, like it totally feels less like okay. Even if Xbox Gold games with gold turns out to be amazing, I will always have a sour taste in my mouth towards Xbox Live Gold, just because of past experience with the service.
Man,
I didn't feel like I was getting my money and worth out of it.
I feel like it costs money to run online services. Like, I'm surprised that Sony, the PS3 had a problem where, yeah, sure, you could play on their online service for free, but it was not great. Like, their server quality was generally not awesome on the PS3.
Yeah, it was
compared to the PS4 or compared to the Xbox. Like, games cost money, yo.
Yeah,
that's what the online pass was supposed to cover.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is I don't know. I mean,
well, that idea seems to have died out also. So
that's what frustrated me about the whole Xbox Gold thing was it's not like they were running the servers. The individual game companies were providing their own servers for the most part on a lot of those, especially like the shooters. So I didn't know what I was paying for other than the right to play online. But anyway, like, I don't know. Everything about PS Plus feels good because the marketing's been good.
Their marketing is excellent.
And I mean, they definitely feel like good guy Sony, which is weird because Sony is really the good guy. But hey, it works. It really works. Okay, so yeah. Other than that, I really don't have anything much. So we've probably gone long enough at this point. So let's wrap things up with the whole where everybody's at. Let's start off with Ray.
Oh, I'm still at littlerayofsun.com working on trying to get a Twitter handle. Hopefully that'll work itself out this week.
Man, speaking of Twitter, so I think maybe I have like a negative opinion this week because of the crap you're going through to try and get your handle back. But it takes a really long time to report somebody for being abusive on Twitter. Like, I tried to do it earlier, and I think I had to go through 7 screens of information before I could get to the actual report somebody. And it was a rape and death threat that I was reporting, and you'd think that there would be a easy way of doing that, but apparently there wasn't. Anyway.
Wow.
So, frustrating.
So yeah, sidebar. Ash, where can we find you?
Well, I'm on Twitter at hidden_wings. I also have a blog at ashfang.com.
And both Ray and Ash and Kodra are participating in the Blaugust event, so hopefully you'll be seeing daily content from them. Kodra, where are you at?
You can find me at Kodra22 on Twitter or at my blog at thekeengamer.com.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm participating in Blaugust, so I'll be posting every day.
Sweet. I, as always, am the author of Tales of the Aggronaut blog at aggronaut.com. I'm at Belghast on Twitter, Belghast on a Nook, Belghast on Hitbox, even though I'm having some frustrations with Hitbox. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining in, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Good night.
See you.
Later.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Later.